Hello children, welcome back to the online class. Children, today we shall start with a new chapter, section B, Waiting for the Rain, written by KAMAKSHI Balasubramaniam. Now children, the chapter Waiting for the Rain, the very title gives us an indication that the title somewhere is based on anticipation, hope. And children, who would hope for rain? It is obvious that a farmer would wait for rain because rain is very beneficial to a farmer. Now, if you talk about the writer, the author, Kamakshi Balasubramaniam, she is again a very well-renowned Indian writer who caters, the interests of India, of the people of India, especially she focuses on the rural part of India, and her writings, her compositions are based on those. The petty issues, or I would say the issues of India, especially of the rural places. Now, before I come down to the theme of the chapter and message of the chapter, let me tell you that today we are going to read as well as we will try to understand what the story Waiting for the Rain is all about. First thing children, we need to understand the character. We find that there is only one very important character in the entire story, that is Velu. You can open to page number 79 of your textbook. So characters, if I am talking about, we have one very important character whose name is Velu, and he is a farmer by profession, right? Now it happens so that Velu, a farmer, he is quite dependent on rain, and he is hopeful that as it had been raining in the previous year, this year also it would rain accordingly. But there is no rain, summers are already over, and there is no like clouds formed in the sky. So this is his condition. Now already he is a good farmer. He is a very hard-working farmer. He is an industrious farmer, right? And industrious, laborious, and hard-working farmer. And he is totally children dependent on farming. So what he expects, the very first line starts, I hope it rains at least today. It means that he was waiting, he was anticipating rain for many days, right? But to his dismay, to his surprise, it did not rain, right? Now, already he has worked in the past years and he has received good rain, and he has always the production of his crops has always been remarkable, right? So we will find in the story that already 5 years he has given good yield, he has given good production, right? And he is totally based on farming. This is the 6th year where he waits for rain and there is no rain, right? Now here it says that rain or no rain, if you go to the second paragraph, he says that he is a person who is very industrious, very laborious, very hardworking. Though it does not rain, though the land has become cracked, though the land has gone barren, but he doesn't lose his hope. Every morning he gets up early in the morning. As we all know children, that what is the status of a farmer in India? Every Indian farmer works very hard. Not only India children, all the farmers even abroad, the work of a farmer is really very hectic. They do a lot to give us food crops, and we are totally dependent on farmers. So this farmer, being a very laborious person, he gets up early in the morning despite he finds that there is no rain, right? But his hope is already always intact. His hope is already alive. So he gets up early in the morning and he goes to his farm, to his land. He sows, he tills, he does whatever is possible from his end. But children, ultimately we are all dependent on nature, and farmers, they are of course very much dependent on nature. So he finds that there is no rain, but still he goes there, he does his job very accurately with utmost honesty, right? He puts in his effort, right? But all his effort goes in vain. But being a very hopeful person. Now this chapter also shows us, the character trait of Velu. If I talk about the character trait of Velu, what do we learn from this character? That despite the situation was hopeless, this person doesn't lose his hope. So children, the person teaches us a lesson, a real life lesson, that even at adverse situation, we should keep our faith alive. We should always keep our faith intact, right? The very situation, this unprecedented situation of COVID-19, right? Most of us lost hope in the initial time period, but now, right, the you can say, the vaccines have come, and it has come with a ray of hope. So those vaccines, we have already gone through the hard times. Now a ray of hope has come, so we should always keep our hope alive. That is first point. Now we find that days and weeks pass, right? As you see in the book also, page number 80, you can go. So days and weeks pass, months passes, and all the other farmers, all the co-workers, they get agitated, right? They lose their patience, and they they just ask Velu, since he was you can say, a very a renowned farmer over there, and most of the people followed Velu. So they all went to Velu and said, it is high time. It is high time, and we should do some sacrifices so that we could please, right, God, and ultimately we will expect shower of rain, or we may expect, heavy showers. So he listens to all his co-workers, and all his co-workers comes, with vague ideas, with all conventional ideas, that we should go for, sacrifice of animal, sacrifice of goats, and other animals. But this man, he says, already we have been receiving rain for the past so many years, right? The idea of sacrificing any animal, any live creature, is it sounds quite insane. So this would probably not bring us rain. So he doesn't he disagrees with the idea of his co-workers or co-farmers. He says that sacrificing of animals will give no good. So he doesn't support this idea where all his co-farmers come up, right? He says we will wait and we will see what happens, but we will not go for any sort of animal sacrifice. So here again, the second part or the second phase of the story, I would say, it shows us another facet. It brings us another facet where we should ponder upon that some people, when they lose hope, they go into such insane ideas of sacrificing animals. But this man seems to be, right, very practical, and he understands that such sacrifices would not do any good, right, children? So you see, even in our country, India, there are a certain, a number of people, especially in the rural areas, even in the urban areas, when people don't get solution to the problem, they think of going insane and doing such ridiculous activities, right? So these ridiculous activities do not bring any good. Next we find value 2 was at a loss, so he decides, right, one day values decides that he would go where, to the department. Which department, children? The department which decides, here it is given, he goes to a department, weather office department, right? He goes to a weather office department and asks them, right, asks them that when are the chances of rain. So the weather department people also did not give any assurity. They were also in fact quite puzzled and perplexed. They also came up with the conclusion that they were not aware, as there was no clue or no sign of rain in the clouds. So here also he did not get a positive response from the weather people. The weather department people said that they were also under a big loss. So what do we understand? Why everyone was at a loss? Everyone was at a loss because nature somewhere was not supporting. So you see, children, our entire life is somewhere or the other associated with nature. We are directly or indirectly dependent upon Mother Earth. We are dependent upon nature. So he felt that already he was also going through a very loss. Now, children, he had not lost hope, but he was quite, dejected and depressed. And then, while returning, he came across a huge tree. He came across a huge tree. And then he decided that he would take rest. Who would take rest, children? Velu decided that he would take rest. So as he was taking a rest over there, he met an old woman who was also sitting somewhere here, right? Old woman, and she was also taking rest. So when Velu sat over there, he found the women. The women tried to interact with Velu, finding him lost, finding him in despair. So Velu revealed that he was quite unhappy as there was no rain. Right? He was quite unhappy as there was no rain. Now Velu, this lady, when she interacted, Velu felt that he should speak out his heart, because someone has to be there. No, like when we are very much sad, when we are very much depressed, we look for someone with whom you can share everything. So Velu found that the woman somewhere was fine, with whom he could share his anxieties and troubles. So he does so, and then the woman gives a smile. Right? Velu says that he has been working very hard, honestly, never done any sort of injustice to his work. Then he said, why is nature treating him in this manner? He was quite depressed here. So the woman smiled. She passed a smile. And Velu got irritated, agitated, that why the women was passing a smile when he was talking something very important. So the women said that you have been working very hard but never gave rest to the land. Right? Children, so the women's reply was something that what she meant was that Velu had never given rest to the land. And even Mother Nature, Mother Earth, even nature needs rest. Nature also needs rest, and Velu had never given, because continuously he was sowing, one after the other. One year maybe pulses, the other year something. So he kept on plowing and harvesting. So it continued. So for the past 5-6 years he had continued. So this lady explained that the earth was already, Mother Earth was already into work for so many years, not only 5 years, but someone else might have done the same, right? So Mother Earth, that was the way of taking rest for Mother Earth, when Mother Earth was lying and there was no rain. So old women explained that it was the time for the nature, for Mother to heal itself. And then Velu could understand that it was very much right, where he had never given time or rest to Mother Earth. So the old women explained Velu that because it was not raining, it was a good time for Mother Earth to get healed. Velu understood, and then he walked up from there towards his home. Now when he walked up towards his home, right, children, to his surprise, what he found, that the clouds had turned grey, and his anticipation, his hope for rain, right, was there. Cold wind started blowing, and a few drops of rain fell on his shoulder. He was quite happy and had understood a lesson that sometimes nature also needs, nature also heals itself in its own way. So we need to understand now, the lesson teaches us several things. What all things the lesson teaches us? First of all, if you see here the theme, nature is a mother to all. True. This has been justified in the story very well, that nature is very important and we are all directly or indirectly associated with nature. First thing. Second, we also find that farmers are the backbone of the society. This man was a very industrious farmer, very laborious farmer, right? And he worked day and night despite there was no hope of rain. But still he kept his hope alive, and he worked because to bring, food crops for the people. What message does the story give you is a very sound message and a very sensible message, that do not deplete, do not overuse anything. We do not understand that nature also needs rest, but our greed sometimes gets so high that we forget everything and give lot of pain to nature, right? Just to satisfy our needs, what we do, we actually give lot of pressure and burden to nature. So children, it is high time to understand, right, that not only we but even nature needs rest, and nature has its own way of healing itself. So this is what the chapter Waiting for the Rain is all about, right children? Do read the chapter, go through the chapter. The answers and questions will be uploaded in the same or in the next class. Till then children, have a good day and take care of yourself. Thank you.